Welcome back to the Wargrove of Well. In today's video, we're continuing the top 3 best heroes for each faction series, this time with Chaos. Chaos is a very diverse faction with a lot of different heroes, and so it can be a little hard to figure out which ones you need for your army. So in this video, I hope to clarify that. I'd also like to apologize for the lack of uploads for the past few weeks. I had my university finals this last week, and I've generally just kind of had a little bit of a rough time and needed to take a little bit of a breather for myself. But now that my summer has started, regular uploads should resume. So, without further ado, let's get started. First up is Beasts of Chaos. Now, Beasts of Chaos don't have too many heroes. I believe there's only 6 of them. And each of them tends to cater towards one of your other units, be it Doom Bowls, Brayherd, that's your Ungors and some of your Chaff units, or some of the specialist Zangor units. And so I've kind of picked the 3 that I think you're going to get the most value out of. And it's going to be the Great Beast Shaman, or excuse me, Great Bray Shaman, the Doom Bull, and a Zangor Shaman. Now, the Doom Bull is a great buff piece for your Doom Bulls and other big units like that. The Grey Bray Shaman, I would say, is almost necessary because it gives just a flat area of effect buff to movement, giving you a lot more speed with your already speedy army. And then Zangors are one of the better units in the book right now, so having a hero that buffs them is all the more better. Now over to Khorne, we have the Bloodsecrator, Slaughter Priest, and Bloodthirster of Rage. These 3 provide you a great core of buffs through the Slaughter Priest and debuffs from the Bloodsecrator, and a fantastic big slappy monster. The Bloodthirster of Rage is also incredibly cheap for what they are, so having multiple of them is never a bad choice. Now to make things a little bit more magical, we have the Lord of Change / Kairos Fateweaver, the Blue Scribes, and Fate Master. The Lord of Change and Kairos Fateweaver are probably the best units here, with Kairos being the better of the 2. The only difference is Kairos has more abilities that are a little bit stronger, but he's a little bit more expensive. And I would say both of them are pretty much auto-include. Then we have the Blue Scribes, a really fun unit to play with that gives you more consistent casting of your spells in an area of effect around them, and the potential to learn more spells as the game goes on. And then lastly, might be a little of a controversial pick, the Fate Master. His command ability to give you rerolling hit rolls in an aura around him for a command point is really strong, especially for hordes of pink horrors and a bunch of your other units. So I think that alone lets him get onto the top 3. But oddly, I haven't seen him in a lot of lists, so let me know your opinion on that in the comments below. For Heated Knights of Slash, befitting the god of excess and pride, we have 3 named characters. We have Gludos, Sigvald, and Celesk. Gludos is a great unit to have at the center of your army for the buffs and debuffs that he provides. Sigvald is just a fantastic fighter, and then Celesk is a little bit odd. I think she's a little bit harder to use due to having to have equal mortals and demons nearby for some of her abilities to work, but she's very powerful in her own right, and having those access to those buffs if you have a split mortal and demon list is something to consider. I think that you could replace Celesk with a Keeper of Secrets here, but that is up to you. Before we continue on with the video, I'd like to give thanks to our Patreon members, and an extra special thanks to Nick Hoff. If you'd like to become a Patreon member, there's a link in the description below. Also in the description below is a link to our Discord channel. If you want to come and hang out and join the community down there, I would love to see you there. Now with the Gross Green Boys, we have the Maggotkin of Nurgle. Up here we have 2 big monster pieces and a very good all-around unit. The Glotkin and the Great and Clean One are 2 very strong units, and having one or both in an army is a very good choice. And then lastly is Epidemias. His ability to grant you rerolls based on various factors is very powerful. Rerolls are starting to go away in Age of Sigmar 3, so having a source of that still, even with their 3.0 codex, is very strong. Now over to the Ratman of the Skaven, we have the Warlock Engineer, Thankful and Bone Ripper, and then any of the Vermin Lords. I picked these three because they provide all-around good buffs to most any army you have for Skaven. Skaven is a little bit odd in that their heroes are very intrinsically tied to your army composition and what clan you are planning to run. And so your army might not have any use for a Warlock Engineer. You might be going all Eshin or all Verminous or whatever. And so you'll just need to keep that in mind. Additionally, this is pre 3.0 Battle Tome, and so the hero choices might change a significant degree in their new tome. But with that said, the Warlock Engineer is a great unit for Scryer as it gives them a +1 damage to their stuff with the potential for some damage to themselves. Thankful and Bone Ripper is just a very flexible unit piece. They're a little expensive, but very, very powerful. And then any of the Vermin Lords, you have a lot of flexibility with which ones you choose. They're just a great monster unit to have. And finally, to wrap up our video, we have Slaves to Darkness. My three picks here are Archaon, the Demon Prince, and a Chaos Sorcerer Lord. Archaon is a fairly obvious choice here. He is a crazy strong unit in all regards, but he is very expensive. Coming in at almost half your army, you have to build around him if you want to succeed with Archaon. The Slaves of Darkness Demon Prince is a very flexible, fun unit to play with. The Marks of Chaos changing his command ability is very strong. The strongest one, in my opinion, is the Khorne one that halves your opponent's run and charge rolls, an aura of 18 inches around him. Very, very powerful. And then lastly, the Chaos Sorcerer Lord. The Chaos Sorcerer Lord's innate spell is just flat rerolling all hit and wound rolls. Very strong. Put that on some of your big hitters and you're going to do a lot more damage. So that was my picks for the top 3 best heroes for each Chaos faction. If you disagree, please let me know down in the comments below. But if you liked this video, please consider leaving a like or a comment. And if you want to see more of this type of content in the future, consider subscribing. This has been the Wargrove of Woe, and I'll talk to you guys next time.